Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I am so sorry, guys. So terribly sorry. Now we've got it. We're ready to go, I hope. That's better. All right, now I need the new cylinder head. Actually, the old head I have here. The old piston I have here. I get that. Head, piston, head bolts. And dang head. Should be here. Right. So I'm actually going to use. I've ordered new piston rings. I'm actually going to use. I'm going to steal the rings off of here, and we're going to reuse this piston. Hey, Larry. So long and short of it was I did not misplace them. They fell into the garbage. Yeah, man, that spring just wants to pop right out, doesn't it? Check that out. Sorry, guys. They were in the garbage. Yeah, if you use the Coke can trick, that spring does not want to pop out. That spring stays in there. Hey, Ken. Glad you came back. On that side, you don't need the Coke can trick. That'll be fine. Oh, no sound? I hear it on mine. I'm good. I can hear it through my my other phone. Ken, can you hear sound? So Larry, sorry, something's wrong on your end. Oh, okay, maybe I was just talking too soft. Sorry. I've cleaned the clamshells pretty good here. A little bit of brake cleaner always shows up all kinds of other stuff. And then that clamshell, yep. Sounds good? Okay. It's okay, Ken. We'll give you a pass for now. Okay, here we go. Well, Ken, no, I believe you, but the Dremel actually worked fine. I was able to get it, and let me show what I ended up doing. I ended up holding the washer real tight, and with the big pliers, and actually working it this way better than doing it that way. I don't know if that makes sense, but working it just a little bit with the carbide, I was able to get the pieces exactly where they need to be. And now the bearings do indeed fit inside the ways here, so it should be fine. They were not. They were like 27 thousandths thick, which is fine because the bearings still sit inside the cups here. So I had a sneaky suspicion that they didn't quite need to be that thin. As is, Ken. Of course. Oh dear. Oh, great. Tickle in my throat. That's going to be awesome. Too much 1184. Actually, I'm doing this side first because it has a channel in it. So I'm just going to blob it on here a little bit. Let it tack while I'm doing the other side. And then put basically a second layer on. There you go. May need to get a drink. I'm not putting this, it's not going to be touching the bearings. If anybody disagrees with that, let me know. But I don't see a need to put it in the bearing journals here. There is no gasket for this. It's just a gasket maker, so I think the factory was Durco. Factory steel sealant was Durco. That orangey stuff. I didn't eat it. Get a drink. Hang on. Be right. Right here. Don't tell anybody of my patience, okay? Just don't say anything. anchovy paste. Actually, that Coke with stevia is really not too bad. A little bit more. I happen to know that this adapter goes on the flywheel side, so I'm pretty sure that 1, 2, 3 flywheel side, therefore this goes this way, flywheel side. Roger, you're correct. That stuff does rot your teeth. Or it might rot yours. It doesn't tend to rot mine. I know, I cheat. See, now we have to do all this pretty quick because I need to get the cylinder head bolts in, but they got to put the head in too. And, ah, crap, I forgot to take the carbon out of here. Oh, dear. We'll do that quickly. Hang on. Let me first get this piston back to where it needs to be. I'm just going to change out the rings on the piston. I've ordered the rings. They say they're on back order, but they also can't really define what that means. So, are we going to trust it? No, we're not. These are actually pretty flexy rings. Sometimes rings break. Rule of thumb, have this clean and ready to go before you put the 1184 on. Great. New gasket. Touch of WD-40 on the rings. I know not everybody agrees with that, so that's fine. It just is so darn convenient. Come on, ring. There's one. day. I know my buddies are always like, you gotta stop smoking. I don't smoke. Let's get some carbon out of this head. Just clean this up just a little bit. I've just got a stainless steel wire-ended thing here, and that'll help clean out the exhaust anyway. The exhaust was nearly completely plugged. Much better. Nice light coat of oil on the head there. The base is fine. I'm just going to use the bare gasket here. Now for this tricksy part, getting the piston on. You almost can't see the pin bearing. It's so small. It's just so tiny. Or the wrist pin, where's the bearing? Just as tiny. Tiny. Flywheel side is over there. Stratos come in this side, so the exhaust is that way. That would make sense anyway. Got to make sure the pin wants to go through, which it sort of does. Exhaust side that way. going to go in reluctantly, but it will go. How about screwdriver? Big one. Too big? Too big, too big. Good. That's home. Now we can take our John Riley pliers here. See how they go. All this has to go together all at the same time because the head bolts are all one piece. Thinner side in. Click. Perfect. Big thanks to John Riley on that. John Riley's a genius for coming up with the pliers like that. That makes life so much easier. All right, if you just want to move the clip around a little bit, you can. It should circle in there. Sorry. Almost 3 weeks for OEM 360 parts. Yeah, I know. This whole parts game is tough. The machine I got the phone call about your place of Friday is still down. That's bad. Oh, so I'm sorry, Ken. Use Bg86 all day yesterday. Yeah, it seems like a fine machine. You know, I've used it a little bit. I don't find huge use for blowers personally, but you know. There, it's in. Okay. So, the Strato's that way. I got the gasket on. The gasket's correct. Seals look like they're going to be fine. Okay. Head bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, I wanted, somebody should say, Matt, get your Bosch tool. Okay. Did I not bring that down? I thought I brought that down. I'm just going to screw this back on, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to look for my other stuff. Be right back. Oh, yeah, it's over here. Literally right in front of me. Please tell me I didn't forget anything. Actually, Ken, that's a great idea with the gutters. Didn't even think about that. Okay. Okay. Let's go over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your new crankcase. Finally. If I remember right, we don't put the shroud and whatever on until later. I am quite fortunate in that I have pretty good neighbors. So, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. My policy with neighbors: show up with a saw or a shovel. Dry cough tubes. What a shot of levity for. Yeah, great. Well, I got a drip down the back of my throat, just driving me nuts. But I'll be okay. I think we'll put the intake on here. Yeah, I think this side goes that way. And because of this, I will use a little bit of 1184 on here. Which bolts held the intake on? It's a mystery. I think it's these. That feels right. 20 millimeter long coarse thread. These are actually self-tappers. They don't actually have the self-tapping thing going, but they do have to self-tap. Neighbor's son plays drums this morning, 6 a.m. He's playing his drums. Blower is for display purposes only. Yes, display purposes only. It's just for you guys, really. For those people. There's 11 people on this afternoon. Surprised. I was expecting more like 5 or 6. Here's our intake. All together. 12 people. Who else is here? I mean, I like talking to Ken and Larry, but just wondering who else is here. Wild Thing makes blowers? Swimming Brambles. How's it going? Again, I'll put my email in here in case anybody needs it. Maybe we'll attach this to the blower. What do you guys think? Maybe? Seemed like a good idea at the time, right? Of course, it's not like I cleaned this thing. Let me go hit this real quick. I'll be right back. Okay. So before I work on that, put that over here. Should put that new fuel filter on there. And we're going to pray that that fuel line's still good. Dum 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 dum. There. A little bit of grease, fuel filter goes in. Good thing it was trash night. Okay. Back to reality, boys. Put away the John Riley pliers. Get some fresh steel R3. Yeah, I love my hemostats. What's happening with the saw with the cylinder gasket leak the other night? Swimming Brambles, that's the 262, and I'm waiting until Friday to get tools in my hand so that I can use them to assemble the head there. Well, probably a good point there, Ken. Yeah. What else was I looking for? There's another piece of fuel line which would be attached to the original carburetor that I need to measure. That's this thing. And my kids are probably going to be off the bus any second, so you guys are going to forgive me. Hang on. I need to go check on that situation. Be right back. Okay, the kids are home, safe and sound, everything's good. Multi, how's it going? Ken, take care of that machine, okay? So yeah, so let me see. So the 262 we'll put together hopefully Friday, this weekend, whatever. I'll get that crankcase together. I also wanted to go back down to my folks and machine some adapters so that I can get the bearings in the right position. So if I can do that, then I will. What else do we have here? One. What's going on here? Well, I guess that wiring harness is a no good. Good thing I bought the switch and apparently the wiring harness that it goes with. Alright, it's off camera. Let me move the camera here. Hang on a second. You guys can see what's going on. Let me close up my 1184. Put some stuff away. This is going to be built in a jiffy if I didn't misplace any other parts. I'll have this built right up and hopefully running. So, let's see, can we see this right now? Yeah, I think that's going to be good. Looks like there's a ground up here, pull and around, and then down. So, ground up here. And this switch, I think, has kind of a happy little home right here somehow. There we go. Take care, Roger. Go make lots of money. Looks like I could just put this in here. What am I missing? A little bit of give there. There we go. think we can just put that in there like that. Now what I do want to do temporarily is put the spark plug in. I think these bigger screws are the ones that hold the engine on here, so let's put those on. Just so everybody knows, the reason that I'm working on this now as opposed to later is because I have a dinner this evening, which is my second interview, actually. Which is a second interview. I guess while we're working on this side of the blower, we can just start assembling the rest of it this way. Yeah, dentist job. I do wish I could just keep doing this, but I would probably have to have 100,000 subscribers in order to do that. Thanks, Larry. Yeah, I think this one's going to work out. I really do. I think it's going to be one of the best fits available. Whether ultimately it is, you know, the best thing, who knows? But I think as far as what the jobs are out there, I think this is, you know, about the best I can hope for. Cool. Thanks, Larry. Yeah. Tough to know what's best. There are actually, you know, for me, there's probably plenty of jobs. Finding the right fit is the tricky part. For dentists, it's really a lot like finding a spouse. It's a trick. Finding the right, and a lot of guys, you know, it doesn't happen. A lot of guys don't quite find the right fit. So that's, you know, one of the incentives to start out on your own and kind of do your own thing. But that's kind of, it's really intimidating, you know. So this blower I robbed this switch from to fix another blower. You were at the dentist, broke a front tooth, needs a crown. Had root treatment today so she can fit a pin. Oh, you did it with no no anesthetic? I don't know. It wouldn't be me. Would not be my first choice to do dentistry with no anesthetic. I know plenty of guys do it, but not really my thing. Grab it like that, so it's got to go over like that. It's too low. High. That lays down in like that. That lays like that. Does it go in front of it? I forget. It seems like it's got to slide. Yeah. There. That's got to be it. I know, it don't gotta be it, but hopefully it is. Screws for that are in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next appointment, you'll need to be frozen up. Actually, swimming, I'll disagree. Am I allowed to disagree? I'll say, if you're doing a root canal, you need to be frozen up for the first visit. But often in subsequent visits, you won't necessarily need to be anesthetized. So that works perfectly. Am I missing a spring here? Is there a spring on the carburetor? Yeah, so it feels like hopefully I should be all right. Well, so I mean, ask her if the tooth is dead now, and then technically you really don't need anesthetic for the second visit. But it doesn't mean that it can't be painful. It's just that if the tooth is dead, you won't feel anything on it. But that's a big if for some people. Other people want to take that chance. That's between you and the dentist, you know. Gasket on there, that looks good. What do you think? New carburetor? Seven people watching. Just a blower, guys. Nothing too exciting. See, can I get this over there? Get it over there like that. Doesn't look like it. Looks like I gotta put the carburetor on first. And then somehow finagle the throttle rod in there, which is not easy. There we go. Okay, that was easier than I remembered. Hey, that feels good. Okay. Don't forget the gas line. I gotta somehow get in here and put that gas line on. I hate putting gas lines on without grease. It just drives me nuts. Not because they're difficult to get on, but because they're such a pain to get off all the time. Going together. That's the primer. Guess we're ready to put the ignition coil and the flywheel on. Or we should just finish with the intake. Let's finish with the intake. You're right. We'll finish with the intake. Somehow I'm only left with one screw for the intake. That's obviously not the best. I gotta assume they're just M5, so I will figure that out in a minute. Couple of M5 nuts, just holding the air filter box on. probably this AV right here. Okay. That's the air filter. Let me give this a quick wash. Air filter there. And air filter box. And what the devil's that? More screws here. That goes like that. Oh, I see. That goes there. Now this will slide on. Yeah. Now we're good. Now the air filter box is on. Okay. Down to 4 people. That's more like it. I think the flywheel shroud, ignition coil, there's next. I think overall this was a better procedure. Procedurally, I think this was the right steps on how to put this back together. So I'm definitely happy about that. I'm really upset that I lost those seals at the very beginning. That was really annoying. Check. Throw that out. Throw that out. Throw that out. All junk. Old rings, junk. Don't need those. Don't need old seals. I'm going to toss the carburetor too. Junk, not worth playing with it. Okay. Flywheel next, I think. One thing that the ultrasonic does do very, very well is clean flywheels. Back up to 7. 7 people. Who showed up? People came back. Nice. Ignition coil. There's this little adapter piece that goes on here, and I forget which way it goes. Should clean this before. I think that's it. Yeah. And then this goes here. And one more screw here. This does need to be gapped, so I'm just getting this started here. Business card out. Bink. There you go. Now your gap is set. Andreas, where you from, buddy? There you go. Pack that off. Take your card out. Netherlands. Fantastic. Am I going to be sending a set of tools to the Netherlands? Want a set of chainsaw tools? Of course you do. I sent a set to Finland. Just got to route the wires here. black is the big one. Blue is the little one. Slack here. No tools required just yet. Don't worry, you'll need a set. Of course. Who doesn't? Just shortening these up just a little bit. That should do it. First gotta get the board to work on. Oh God. Oh, another one of the hecklers. That was terrible. Don't you see? I got myself a bigger board. Aren't you impressed? You have to be impressed. Let's check and make sure this is. Yeah, this is gonna be fine. Too small. It's amazing. Great. Killing me. I do. The muffler, right. Can't forget the muffler. I can forget the muffler, but that's not a good idea. A vise to sharpen your chains. Why do you need a vise to sharpen your chains? There's about 3 million different ways to sharpen chains. I mean, I don't stick them in a chainsaw vise, but I know that there are really nice sharpening vices out there. Are you the type of guy that's really picky with your chains? I mean, are you racing or whatever? Is that, what you're into? Or are you just, doing firewood? I mean, are you having, let's put it this way, are you having trouble sharpening on the saw? First question. And two, if that's trouble, if you're not quite there yet, then why not get a grinder? I use I have a really cheap grinder, but I use my grinder if I'm trying to rejuvenate a chain that's pretty rocked. It's faster than me doing it by hand. I guess I'm just curious why you feel the need for a vise. So there are plenty of guys that use chainsaw, chain vices to sharpen chains, but what is driving the need for a vise? Maybe that's not the right question, but this one was clean. I put that back in. That one's clean. Not exactly need for advice. I might make my life easier. Right hand, left hand filing. Okay. Why not get a grinder? Larry, are you still here? Do these have gaskets? I forget. You're shaped like a steak. Oh dear. I feel for you. Oh. Yeah. That can be nasty, huh? Scoliosis is... Ugh. I'd say get a grinder. And then it'll make... I think that if it's not going to get you to where you want to be for sharp, then do the rest by hand. But at least, you can... you can get there a whole lot faster. You just have to be really careful. You don't want to blue the tip of the tip of the tooth. If you blew that, it takes the temper right out of it. So you got to go real slow with a grinder. Yeah, I don't know how a vise solves the issue that you're having. So you have to think about, okay, what's the issue I'm actually having? If you're saying, okay, right-handed, left-handed, there's more force in one direction than another, then that's a reasonable issue. I mean, yeah, but the way to solve that is to have something that negates that, and I think that a grinder would do more of that, and then you can file it by hand just the last couple of swipes or whatever if you really want to do that by hand, Thomas Jung, I have advice. Steel is not a file, but steel files are too good. Furred classic furs are a little bit cheaper. Yeah, I've heard good things about furred files too. Right now I've got files from Save Edge for Raker files, and they seem to be pretty nice. Save Edge. But I am not a chain sharpening expert. That is not me. The chain sharpening stuff, you do what works for you. I would say, like, say not Savage, Save Edge. Let me see if I can find one for you. I don't know if did I have them in here? Did I leave them in here? What did I do with my files? They're probably out in the shed. Hang on. So this is a Raker file. Save Edge. S-A-V-E, and then a separate word, E-D-G-E. Save Edge, Raker file. It says made in Portugal. Supposedly you can send these back to Save Edge, and they will resharpen them for you. How that's worth it, but back for the first fire up. She turns over. Double check that the exhaust bolts are tight. They're not. I did not fully tighten them. There's one. Yeah, I really don't like to get into all the debates with the filing and whatnot. That doesn't. It's not me, you know. Oil and filing. No, I'm not going to go there. Do I have any gas? I got a little bit. Is this gasketless? No. There's a head gasket on this. Is the exhaust gasketless? Is the question? I don't know. I don't remember whether there was an. I don't think there's an exhaust gasket here. I don't know why, but I would have it. I don't. Throw out the old spark plug. Choke on. Primer bulb. There we go. Bring the fuel up. Done. We got fuel. Would be helpful if I put the spark plug wire on here. Good. Let's see. Gotta go tune it. So what does it sound to you like to you guys on the tune there? I'm not super familiar with tuning blowers. I'm much more familiar with tuning chainsaws, so I don't know what that tune really needs. Idle seems too low, so we're going to turn that up a touch. Yeah, spark arrestor is clear on this one. I'll go play with it, but that's makes me pretty happy, I'd say. So I better go get ready for my dinner. which is a second interview for me. And wish me luck, guys. Hopefully, you know, we can work something out here. Questions, comments, anything before I take off? If anybody wants to email me, they can, especially about tools. Really hoping for Friday. Thanks, Andreas. Appreciate it. Fly safe, yeah. Well, hopefully no flying. Right now, I don't really have anything else. Well, tomorrow, let's see. Tomorrow, I might get a shipment from HL Supply, which means I will get a piston, which means we can fiddle a little more with port work on the 394. Well, not really port work. We can fiddle. We can get squish on the 394, and then I have to go machine that. So tomorrow, if I actually get that tomorrow, then we can at least check squish and all that other stuff on the 394 and get an idea of where we're at. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate it. So we'll be doing at least a little bit of that tomorrow night, probably. I don't have a whole lot else going right now, which is good, especially if I do get the job, you know. So, other questions, comments, anything? Anybody want to be on the list for t-shirts? I can try to get more shirts made. Just trying to sell off what I have now to help fund the next round of t-shirts. They're not cheap. They're $20 plus shipping. And that's without me making any money on them. Okay. I'll take off. Thanks, guys. Here, let me turn this up here. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Be safe. I'm so sorry about earlier about losing the stuff. It was in the garbage. I don't know why, but I literally tore through all my parts. They were in the garbage. Sorry. All right. Keep in touch. Stay safe. We'll see you later.